welcome to the hot seat, Stephen. This is obviously one of our major features here, and I'd like to just thank you for doing this, Stephen from the kitchen crew. Stephen Rappling. Stephen runs the business with his wife. Maybe you'd like to talk about your team and Robin and everybody else, Stephen. So thanks again for doing this. This is the hot seat. We're going to have just a little bit of a chat today and talk about your business. Mm-hmm. So just introducing Stephen. So tell us a little bit about your business, Stephen. How many years have you been in business? What is it all about? That sort of thing.
We've been going we're in our 15th year now. So okay. Myself and Robin, my wife, we've run it together from the start. So it's had its ups and downs, obviously, being working together for 15 years.
Yeah.
Struggles and the climate in the industry went up and down over those times through the GFC and that. So it's been a long journey, but we've always kept the philosophy of making sure we provide an awesome service and product.
And did you start out as a cabinet maker? Are you a traditional cabinet maker or a joiner?
Yeah, so I'm a cabinet maker by trade. Also got a carpentry trade, and I'm in my 30th year in the industry.
Wow, so you've been around for a bit.
So yeah, sort of left school when I was 15 to become a cabinet maker, and my father was a builder, so I learned that sort of trade as well.
Wow. So 15 years in this business, is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
What were some of the struggles you encountered to begin with when you first started in business? What did you have to overcome?
I suppose when we started the business, we were really green. We didn't have any idea about running a business, and we didn't seek any advice other than following our gut and doing what we felt was right. And when I was saying before, it has its struggles. Obviously you make wrong decisions and they don't pay off. And I think that was all contributed to what we learnt and where we've got to today.
Yeah. I guess you either you win or you learn, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So it's sort of taking it like we took a big punt early on and put a nesting machine in probably in our 3rd year in business. And back then it was wow, this new whiz bang thing. It was a big jump to take. We had no financial backing or anything, so we sort of just went with our gut, and it was probably the best move we did.
So
and
sorry, go ahead.
It enabled us to grow, and just giving you the speed to get stuff out the door, and you're just that little bit more competitive than everyone else. But now sort of most shops have a nesting machine, so it's a little bit harder.
But interesting, because you did it 12 years ago when really that was the debate right back then. Is it kind of router actually cut board faster?
Yeah, there was only a couple of machines around that were sort of just coming out, not changing over from like point to points to nesters, and we just sort of ran with it, and it paid to be a good move.
And it was a bit of a risk. So really, even 12 years ago, you were prepared to take risks.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've always been someone that jumps in.
When you first started in business, what was your business like? Like, how many employees did you have?
It was myself and Robin.
Yep.
And even Robin was out in the edge machine. We sort of just stuck with the two of us for, it was probably only 6 months, and then we sort of got, 1-2 other guys. Probably for the first sort of 3 or 4 years, it was only sort of a team of 4, like myself, Robin, and a couple of guys on the floor, and they would install as well, and I'd help install. So sort of always involved that way.
Yep. And have you found that your business grows as your team grows, as your employees grow?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Well, the one thing that I know about you, like we've been working together, for about 9 months now, 8 months?
Yeah. Yep. Coming up.
And the one thing that I'm always really, really impressed with you is the fact that your focus is almost always on building your team.
Yeah, definitely.
And it really, really stands out. So I wanted to just talk a little bit about that today. So what are your philosophies around building a team? Because really, this is one of your greatest assets, right?
Yeah, well, without a team, you've got nothing really. You can sell all the joinery you like, but if you don't have a team, you've got nothing.
So what are some of your techniques or some of your tools that you go to when you think about building your team? What do you rely on to make those decisions?
Myself and Robin have always been, I suppose we like to consider ourselves on the same level as our team. We're not over and above them at all.
Yes.
We treat them like how we would want to be treated, and we create a really good culture, I think. And if someone in our team isn't willing to sort of take that culture on, they're obviously not really.
They're not a good fit for your team
for much longer.
Yeah.
We're just trying to build a team with everyone watches everyone's back, me included. You know, I still, to this day, if we're busy, I'm down on the edge machine. I'm, you know, out there with the boys doing what we need to get it done, and I think that goes a long way.
That's interesting. So part of your techniques is to do rather than tell.
Yeah, it's just I suppose when I was working in my younger years, you heard a lot of that sort of banter, I suppose, if you'd call it that. You know, that the office versus factory staff, and they always think that the ones in the office do nothing, and that sort of sticks in my brain, and I make it sort of my mission to make sure I go out there and become part of them as well, and they know that I'm not over and above them, and we're all on the same level, and we're all here to get a job done and you know, provide the end result for the client, because without the client we have nothing as well.
So relationship is sort of number one with you, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know that I've been there a few times when you've had your Friday barbecue. Talk a little bit about these shirts, because I think this is awesome. I don't see them often enough. No,
well, this is sort of all come from Robin, my wife. So she sourced this. It's a company called Trade Mutts. They're a charity, and it was about their experience with a mate that committed suicide. So it's sort of men's mental health awareness, and the sort of trade base. And being that we had a few of our employees that were going through some tough times, and that we sort of thought, well, let's make this all part of our team. And it's actually brought everyone together to become one big family, I suppose. And we can all, you know, talk about things if we need to, and it's just creating awareness, you know, because it's something that's, you know, guys tend to hold it all back and don't talk about it, you know. So we're just doing our bit to make sure that our team and anyone else out there can, you know, be aware of what's out there and what can help.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a huge thing. I know we've aligned ourselves with the Black Dog Foundation, and that's, you know, for that exact reason, that I think that, you know, for right or for wrong, the industry is dominated by male, and males, you know, predominantly men that don't talk to each other.
Yeah.
And I think it's just great. And I talk about what you're doing often. I talk about these shirts. I talk about you as an example. And I want more people to see what you've done and what you're doing, because it's an example not only for the joinery industry, but any industry that's got a team.
Yeah.
Because it's male or female, it doesn't really matter. Your priority is, you know, it appears to me for sure that it's your team first. The reason I like that is because if you look after your team, they'll look after your customers. You know, we often think, customers first. Well, they're certainly an important person, but your employees will look after them if they're treated well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we've sort of focused on the team the most, because if the team are all in line with where the company's sort of going and what the company is, I suppose that what we want to be known for, the team will look after the client.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so good. So talk about your business a little bit. So you've been on a fairly decent growth path this year. There's been some ups and some downs.
Yep.
Let's talk about that a little bit. So that, you know, obviously the industry or the market does what it does, but I've noticed very clearly that you've responded in a really appropriate way in many cases.
Yeah, it has been a tough year. It started off quite busy and then it went dead, but now it's extremely busy again. So I don't know, I've just sort of always worked on the philosophy that if you look after the people you got, and meaning the clients and your staff, you'll sort of run through the down times, and it'll always come back, and people will come looking for you.
Yep. Because
they know what they get, if that's the right way to put it, I suppose. And that sort of proved I didn't really have to put many feelers out to fill the books again.
Yep.
Because I suppose they know what they get when they come to Kitchen Crew.
I think they know who they get.
Yeah, they know who they get. They know what we're all about. And at the end of the day, all the client wants is to be looked after and know that they're going to get the job done and done on time and right.
So you have a high level of trust with people.
Yeah.
What I've also noticed though is your response. So you've got a full workload right now, but you've kind of gone out looking for the right kind of work for your business too, haven't you? You haven't gone out and said, "Oh, we got to recreate the wheel. We've got to rebuild the business." You went out and found the appropriate kind of work that that your business can do exceptionally well and easy, and it's going to go through the factory. You know, you didn't think, let's all of a sudden do custom yacht fit outs or something like that.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about your philosophy behind that.
Yeah, I suppose we just stick to what we know, and not, as you say, don't sort of divert too far left or right. Yeah, we've sort of got that niche, and I suppose we know the niche that we are really good at, and that we can service quite well. And yeah, we just sort of went and thought, well, who else does that? And the guys that we work with, I just even put feelers out with them. They know other builders or other guys that looking for someone good. And usually in a downtime is usually when people start shifting suppliers, looking for better deals and better suppliers. And yeah, we sort of got a few of them on board, and
there you were.
filled the books again. Yeah. So it's good. So, because it was a tough middle sector of the year. So I think it was for everyone out there.
The election and a few other things really.
Yeah. It was just a big combination of everything, I think. And we come off probably 4 or 5 years of it really running nice and smooth up here, and no one really had to fight for work, to no one having anything.
Yeah.
It was like a switch, but seems to be coming back well. So
I think that oftentimes when we get sort of this downturn in the economy, or this lack of buyers' confidence in the economy, like with an election or something like that, it really tests the strength of what you've done in the previous years.
Yeah.
And because what happened in your business is, even though you went through that period of time this year, like everybody did, the switch was pretty quick afterwards. Like you filled your books pretty quickly. So again, would you look back on this year and say it was a growth year for you?
Yeah, definitely. I think so. If nothing of the slow period, it gave us time to breathe and actually dig a bit deeper into the business structure and sort of change a few things, spend a lot more time on team building and stuff like that. So in that way, it was definitely a big growth year for us.
Yep.
Changing systems as well. Yeah.
And of course, to build, you've got to have building blocks, and some of the building blocks you might have to be replaced with, let's say, better building blocks. Let's talk a little bit about the structure of your business a little bit. What are some of the tools that you were using before we started working together, and what are you using now?
So yeah, we changed accounting software this
Yep.
year. We changed drafting software. So we went from 3D Kitchen to Cabinet Vision, which was a big change. We went, got Jobman on board, which we're still working on. That's everything. Like the accounting and Cabinet Vision are all implemented now. So Jobman's sort of, we're working on that.
So it's Xero you're using now?
Yeah, went from my up to Xero.
Yeah.
Just all these three softwares are sort of the bigger picture of, you know, I would say within the next 6 months we'll have Jobman running smoothly through the system, and it'll be a mission complete.
Yep.
The changeover, yeah. So if anything, the downturn actually gave us time to really do the changeover quickly and without too much fuss.
So those are some of the building blocks that we've got, or the tools that we have available to use. Talk a little bit about the flow, because I know that we're working on maybe a little bit more of a clarity measurement, but we're pretty certain, you know, that the increased flow through your factory has been a pretty dramatic improvement as well, hasn't it? Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. So working with Daniel, he's only been to see us once and just gave us a few little tips. And he sort of said, you know, just take baby steps. But I think he came back and we totally changed over everything. And yeah, we just went from one level to the next that quickly. It was a dramatic change. We sort of think now we're consistently cutting 50 to 70 sheets, 8x4 sheets a day.
Okay, so you're doing 50 to 70 now?
Yep.
Yep.
Before we would only do 40.
Okay. Okay, so that's the sheets you're cutting, but you know, your kitchens are going out the door. What I noticed for certain, and by the way, I think the first time Daniel was there, you were on holidays or something like that in some other part of living it up. So so the combination has been really good, because in between that, we were always sort of in your factory, kind of keeping that moving forward.
Yeah.
So it's been 3 or 4 months that we've sort of been, let's call it, attacking your factory.
Yeah.
What I notice now is there's a lot of kitchens now that are sort of in the finished goods area rather than sort of on the factory floor and work in progress.
Yeah, we've actually got it to a point now where we're pretty much, because we were only, realistically, we probably only got 310 square meters of factory floor.
Right.
So it's quite tight. But yeah, so we've got it to a point, if it's just a standard kitchen, it goes from the bench to the truck now. We don't even lay it on the floor.
Okay, so this is where I'm working to, is you now don't, when we first met, you were setting up a lot of kitchens on the floor and walking back and forth between the bench, putting drawers and doors on, that sort of stuff. Now I think it sounds like you're going off the bench finished into the dispatch area.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Or even just straight on the truck.
Straight, next level.
Yeah. And I think we just changed. One of the most dramatic changes was we're now manipulating the nests a lot more and playing with that in the office, and trying to get a good sort of amount of cabinets that are nested together. So it's spitting out cabinet 1 to 4 or 1 to 5 on a nest, and then the next. And that way, as it's coming off the edger, it's actually getting made straight away. So it's not even making the trolley.
So it's created, that in itself has created flow, hasn't it?
Oh, definitely. It's at a point where the machine can't keep up.
Okay, so now we've created another bottleneck, haven't we?
Yeah.
So
so when it's flowing through, it's the guys on the bench, as it's coming off the machine, they're just grabbing it and making them. So it's virtually getting us, you know, we can get a time frame from sheet cut to on the truck per cabinet.
So how many more kitchens per month or per week, like depending on how you measure it, how many more do you think? And I know this is kind of a big broad brush sort of a measurement, but you would see the jobs going out the door. How many more do you think you're doing per month or week?
It's hard to say, yeah, because we do such a wide variety of kitchens, from a small one to a massive sort of kitchen. That's why I sort of try and measure it per sheet to get an idea of actual cabinets, I suppose. I suppose it'd be an extra 2 to 3 kitchens a week.
So 2 to 3 per week, really?
Yeah. So at the moment, we'll probably do close to 10 a week, give or take, depending on the size.
Okay, so let's just just pause for a second here. You've got a 310 square meter factory.
Yep.
And you are doing, where did I put this? You are doing 10. Now, your typical job that you say is a house lot, isn't it?
Yeah. So a house lot, yeah. So that'll be a kitchen, 2 or 3 vanities and a laundry or something, or a pantry in it. Yeah.
10 house lots per week.
Roughly, yeah, depending on the size, obviously.
Okay. So that's got to average, yeah, that's got to average 2 a day.
Yep.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty amazing. And you've got a really steady crew, don't you? Your team don't.
Yeah.
So now one of the other things I think we've done is we've been able to look at your team in the factory and assign them areas and give them responsibilities more clearly for certain things.
Yep. Yeah, we sort of segmented what each person would do, instead of having the one person work on a whole job or sort of do a whole section. We sort of put it down into bite-sized sort of chunks, I suppose, is the easiest way to put it. So one person would work in one area at a time, and that way, just the difference that it makes is phenomenal.
Yeah, because you really reduce your lead time dramatically.
Yeah. Just, it was wasn't too much of a struggle, I suppose, to get the guys to think differently. I think that comes down to our team culture and them having trust in what we're sort of trying to do. And yeah, they all sort of, there was a few pushbacks, but nothing too major. They all took it on board, yeah, and I think everyone was amazed at the difference that it makes.
Yeah, we've really enjoyed working with you, and we're really looking forward to what's going to happen in 2022, because as great as this is, and it is great, we can double or triple this in 2020.
Yeah, we haven't even changed our factory yet, so I've done a whole new plan, and we're going to implement that either the last couple of days of this year or the first week back in Jan, just depending on workload. But we've sort of booked it in the first week back in Jan that we're going to stop. We're actually going to gut the factory and change the whole flow and set up stations pretty much. So it's, yeah, I think that'll make another big difference as well.
So we're going to probably look at roller systems.
Yeah.
And potentially eliminate carts where we can.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, so we got some good ideas. Daniel approves of it, so yeah.
And there is
down with him on Tuesday and went through that, and he was pretty happy with what we come up with. So
yeah, and look, the program that we take you through in your factory has structure to it. So we want to make sure that you're getting this first thing done right before we can move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
So that's the nice thing, is you've moved through 2 or 3 segments of it pretty quickly. So as a coaching business, we're really confident keeping you moving on to the next step. Whereas with some other people, we go, look, we've got to stay at step 1 for another month because we haven't really got it working well yet. You know, everybody wants to move to step 5. So
you definitely got to prepare, I suppose, is the best. Prepare first and then execute.
Yeah. So what's your, let me ask you this, what's the big takeaway from what you've learned and implemented in the last 15 years? First question. And the second question is, what are you looking forward to most in 2020?
What I've learned the most in the last 15 years is honesty and integrity will go a long way.
That's really good. And in 2020, what are you looking forward to most?
Not having to implement new software. and I think the team are looking forward to that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, hats off to the team. They've gone through hell this year of us changing, myself and Robin. Every meeting we have is something new we're changing, something different we're doing. You can just see the look on their faces. Oh no, not again.
Well, if it'll make you feel any better, we're not going to suggest any more new things.
Yeah. We're just going to refine the changes we've made and get them running all that little bit better. And
Yeah, take the tools that you've got and implement them, because quite frankly, the tools you have, you don't get any better than the Cabinet Vision. Jobman's the perfect system for you. You've got your crew set up, so you've got your team, so you've built your team.
Yeah.
You've got your your work coming through the door. Maybe the one thing we might want to focus on in 2020 is just a little bit more of a vibrant marketing system.
Yeah, I think that is what we will do, and that'll just be myself and Robin in the background. Not having to bug the team too much on that. So that would be something we'd work on in 2020.
Yeah, so growing your marketing and maybe growing your sales department so that maybe you can have some time off without having to worry about the sales all the time.
Yeah. We haven't had a holiday this year, so we're itching.
Yeah, because if you leave, really, it's the sales that sort of suffer, isn't it?
Yeah. I've got we've onboarded a sales guy now, and Jesse's doing really well. So he's nearly at a point where I can step back and actually have a break now. So yeah.
Yeah. So what he needs is we need to feed the machine, don't we? So that he's always got that steady stream of leads.
Yeah. Yep.
So I'm looking forward to that in 2020. Get you into that side of things, because when we first met, you were doing pretty well on that to begin with. So we had sort of focused on some other things.
Yeah.
So
it was relying on myself, but so having Jesse now, it's sort of, I can feel that pressure coming off me, and he's sort of at a point where he's can nearly be left to do his job.
Yep. So what are the three sort of, if you can think of three, what are the three things that we've helped you with the most this year that you weren't doing or you weren't thinking about previously?
Factory flow and setup is a big one. Probably the systems, like the software and systems. And just sort of pushing us to work that bit harder and strive to change quicker is probably where you've helped us as well.
So the next step.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Can you honestly say that you've seen a profit increase?
Yeah, we have. Yeah. It's been hard because it hasn't been that great in the 6 months in the middle, but in the months that were good, definitely yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've kind of tracked that. And I think part of that also is identifying some of the costs, and even getting your pricing structure right is drawing focus on that. Is those things alone can help.
Yeah.
Look, to be really frank,
definitely knowing your numbers is very key.
But for sure, if you're doing 2 to 3 more kitchens per week, and we haven't really increased your costs that much.
No, not at all.
Your business is going to have no choice but to have a dramatic profit increase, because you're getting
we haven't had to put anyone else on.
Sounds like you're 30 or 40% more efficient in your factory.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, which means 30 or 40% more revenue, because you can do that same work in less time.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, this has been really, really good. Is there anything else that you can think that stands out in your mind as some of the things that you'd like to pass on to someone else or talk about with your business?
I think we covered everything.
Yeah, it's been, like I say, we really enjoyed working with you and look forward to 2020, because the way we kind of feel is we've kind of set up all the elements now.
Yeah.
We're kind of firing on all cylinders, and we just have to pour a little bit more petrol into the motor.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I feel like we've done a lot of work in setting up this year for good, strong growth and no craziness.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as you know, as our business model for our coaching program exists, I think you've done the stabilization part of it.
Yeah.
And we want to really move on to the growth part for next year, and then on to thrive. So you're sort of set up right now so that now you can grow, because your foundation of your business is quite strong. You're not going to fall over.
No, yeah. We sort of feel confident that there's good grounds there.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, congratulations to you and Robin. I think that I hope that you go into Christmas feeling really good about the business and what's going to happen in 2020. It's terrible if you go into Christmas and New Year's not sure about the new year coming up. It's we did that often, in business. We kind of went, we're going to have a break, but I'm actually more stressed than ever. So
yeah,
it's good to see you're actually going to have a break.
Yeah, it'd be good. Can't wait.
Awesome. Well, thanks for doing this. I'm sure that a lot of people will get a lot out of this, and I'm going to see you soon. We're going to be up there in a few weeks, I think. So awesome stuff. Thanks for chatting with us. Say hi to Robin for me.
Will do.
And everyone else. And
see ya.
Thanks, Stephen. We'll chat soon.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, mate.
Thanks, Bruce.
Bye.